Hello, I think we've done it, STATTO.
We have.
I think we have. Here we go. We are live. Yay, and there we are.
I'm going
You
to
looking
crack a
good
root beer
tonight?
to celebrate the occasion.
Yay. I'm teetotaling. This is not in any way, shape or form alcoholic. Did you hear that?
What's that?
I had the sound on in the old YouTube, didn't I?
No, I didn't hear that. I was thinking you were saying like it sounds like the howl of a wolf.
The howl of a wolf. As they say.
Nice.
Right, let's have a go. This is amazing. I'm at the console. I know how the Captain Frederick Head feels now. Yeah, so let's see. Well, speak of the devil. Good evening.
Hey, Cap.
Hey, as I can, like I could do what I can just now. So, yep, this is cool. What have we got here? Let's see. I'm going to click something. Oh, there we go. Ailsa Dark or Ailsa Dark. You can call it whatever you want. I don't care. Just sign up for the mailing list, please do, after the show. Thank you very much. And make sure to follow Statistical Zero, which is just about the most fun Twitter you could possibly follow. Different little comic strip every day, practically, isn't there?
Well, sometimes I'll skip a couple days and put up 2 or 3, but yeah.
Yeah. That counts as every day.
Yeah.
Right. So what are we doing here? We should probably explain to people what this is going to be and what it is we're doing.
We're talking classic movies because we are classic movie fans.
There you go. Succinct. And in one sentence. There you go. I would have taken 5 minutes to do that. Thank you very much. Yeah. So basically, we just we started chatting about them just as replies on Twitter. Because I like to tweet when I'm watching a classic movie, what I'm about to watch. And I think it was Treasure of the Sierra Madre, and you replied with the Maltese Falcon. And that got us into a little discussion. Some other people were involved. And it's a no-brainer that we eventually end up sitting here actually talking about classic movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tonight's show is going to be all about werewolves. And it's going to be a different theme every time we do the show. So it's not going to be always horror based, but because I've got a comic book out there which does actually include werewolves in it, it was STATTO that decided, a good show to start with would be a werewolf based show, and I thought, brilliant idea. So let's do that. So episode 1, even a man who is pure of heart. How does that go?
Will be a wolf. The Wolfman blooms.
Even a man who is pure of heart and says his prayers by night will become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
And I just watched it a few nights ago too.
Yeah, well, I watched a wee while back in preparation for this. I watched Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Because why not? But it will become apparent as we move on. So let's see what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about classic werewolf movies. And we're going to start with the first, maybe not classic, but the first real werewolf movie that was ever put out there, which is The Werewolf of London, starring Henry Hull, who was a bit of a respected actor back in the day, and Warner Oland. What do we know about Warner Oland, STATTO?
He was Dr. Yagami. That's what I got.
Dr. Yagami. Right. He technically probably was the first werewolf, wasn't he? Because is it him that bites Tom Tully and this turns him into a werewolf, I believe.
Swedish-born actor.
Swedish-born actor. Famous for playing, all the woke folk are going to love this, famous for playing a Chinese detective, Charlie Chan, in a series of movies in the 30s. Warner Oland, 30s and 40s. There were a few people that played Charlie Chan. He was one of the most successful. So what we're looking at here is a werewolf in a movie. So there you go. We're already there. And his makeup is by Jack Pierce, who did the makeup for the more famous Lon Chaney Wolfman, who we're going to get to in a wee minute. Is this a movie that had any kind of like a effect on you at all when you watched it?
Not terribly.
No.
This one was pretty tame as far as like
it's
a lot.
Completely tame. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely tame. But what we're talking about with a movie like this is you got to remember that at the time there was a lot of censorship. It was post the
Yep.
Hays Code. The Hays Code was brought in the 30s. Basically, all these woke people in Hollywood just decided that you couldn't see good stuff. So a lot of censorship was about. And what happened was you would have the Hays Code people coming and said, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so things were a bit sedate. So this is really just a testing the waters with a horror movie, and it's very much a detective style movie with just happens to have a werewolf in it.
Yeah, that spanned from 1934 to 1968.
Yeah, exactly. One of the reasons why you watch an old movie in the 50s and you see a married couple and they're sleeping in separate beds, and you're going to go, what the hell's going on here? That's a Hays Code. So I'm just going to go to the chat because we actually do have people watching. I thought it was just going to be you and me chatting about movies, but yeah, of course we see Caps there, Lewis, boo, oh my God, scared the shit out of me, man. Bristolian Dave, hey, and he'll call me Mark, of course.
Hey, call me Mark. Hey, Bristolian Dave. Hey, Lewis, Michael.
Thanks for showing up, guys. We'll try and keep you here. Any kind of comments that you may have or interjections, please do put them into the comments. So I think we've agreed that Werewolf of London is historically important for starting off the werewolf movies, but it never really started off a franchise per se.
He's the only werewolf that talked.
Right enough. Yeah. There you go. He says, I might watch that again. I'd completely forgotten that he talked. There was another one as well, wasn't there? Was there not a female werewolf movie that was made after this?
But there's no werewolf. There were no werewolves in that movie.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. They tended to do that, make movies that, promise things, but didn't actually give you them. Yeah. So, yeah, The Werewolf of London is an honourable mention to this Tom Tilley, who I believe was so vain that he requested that the makeup wasn't too extreme so that people could see how gorgeous he was underneath the makeup. Yeah, that's just what I've been told.
And this and She-Wolf of London were both included in the Legacy Collection from Universal.
That's the one I was thinking of, She-Wolf of London. Yeah. I should have included that in my list here, but no. No, we're going straight to the classics. Now we're going to the Wolfman class. Now we're talking. I think I should have had Boo come up at the same time as that image, because that is, of course, every child's favourite hairy monster, the Wolfman. So when did you first come across the Universal horror movies? Because that's what these are, the Universal horror films.
Well, I saw all the pictures and stuff of these when I was a little kid, like in those horror books, where they'd kind of like, these are the Universal monster, and they'd have stock pictures of all of them and stuff like that. But I never did see it until I was in my late teens when the Legacy Collections came out, because that was the first time they were on DVD, and I didn't have any access to VHSs. But this was the first collection that I ever bought, because this was the one I was dead set on seeing. So
right,
a lot of memories included here.
So you'd seen probably scarier movies before you saw these?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think I was probably 10, 11 years old when I started watching these movies, maybe even a wee bit younger, in Scotland. Cap will know this. They used to have late night horror double bills in the UK. They would show like an old Universal horror movie and then a more modern movie after it. So I'd be watching like a werewolf film from Universal followed by a werewolf film from Hammer Horror. Suddenly as a 10-year-old getting thrown into, oh my God, what am I watching? Both looking tame by today's standards, but suddenly I was jumping about 20, 30 years ahead, between one part of a double bill to the other. So this movie is a movie that I just love. I think it's an amazing movie. If you were to rank werewolf movies, which we might do at the end, we might decide what we think are our personal bests. This would be high.
That right?
You're right. Okay, Cap. Thanks for that.
It's the first time he's heard my voice?
Oh, yeah. I thought I saw a putty cat. I think he was expecting.
Yeah, I kind of saw a putty cat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just for you, Bristolian Dave.
I get that a lot. I don't know what people are expecting when they hear my voice.
No, I guess so. It's not always what you look like. Yeah, that is a very pretty suggestive pose for the female on the Wolfman poster.
Got to get those people in the theaters.
I've always thought it was an odd poster, though. I mean, obviously she's been carried or something, but the way it's cropped, because that is
Limbo
the actual
contest.
poster. Yeah, limbo contest.
The Gypsies had great games.
Yeah, gypsies indeed. I suppose with the limbo contest, we could have tied this into a kind of zombie movie. That would have fit in perfectly in the 40s, wouldn't it? A zombie movie with a limbo contest. Oh. Which I got before he looked like Johnny Rotten. Yeah.
I like that they gave him like lipstick.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that. Because the movies were black and white. So in the posters, of course, they wanted to show them in colour. So Frankenstein or Frankenstein or Frankenstein or however you want to pronounce it, it was always green. Yeah. I'd quite liked it if they just kept all the posters in black and white.
Well, they could have just used the still from the movie with all the fog and stuff like that. Should have gotten people in the theater.
That would have. That's a much better image, isn't it? Yeah. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about Lon Chaney Jr., who was the son of the famous horror actor Lon Chaney Sr. And he followed in his father's footsteps and became probably an even bigger icon of horror because when he was the Wolfman, the movies that he made were repeated on TV in America and in the UK and around the world throughout the kind of like the 60s and 70s, and entire generations of children that weren't there originally kind of grew up watching them. So I think Lon Chaney Jr. is probably more iconic to a lot of people than his father was. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as pictures go, I mean, like the Phantom of the Opera and the London After Midnight pictures are going to be pretty instantly recognizable. But Lon Chaney had that advantage of people knowing his actual face, because Lon Chaney Sr. you didn't see his face as many times.
No, he's probably more important in horror movies overall than Lon Chaney Jr. But I think the legacy of this character is probably going to last a bit longer. Yeah.
Hey, people.
Hey, peeps. Now, I'm glad you turned up because we can now talk about where this film, The Wolfman, made in 1941, is actually set. It's set in Wales, believe it or not. A very unique version of Wales as created on the Universal backlot. Now, I don't know. I mean, could you explain what a Universal horror movie feels like as far as the setting goes, STATTO?
As far as the setting. Oh, the setting. It's a lot of fog, usually. A lot of atmosphere.
A lot of atmosphere.
There's I mean, the forests look like set forests.
Set forests. Yeah.
It's got like it's very different. I mean, even if you put them in color, it's a lot different than the Hammer stuff with the Gothic type stuff. A lot of these things took place in like villages and things like that. So it was like very little. Even with Frankenstein with its technology, there was very little. It was always old world kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a very strange thing because they were all Gothic horrors. They obviously seemed to be set in European cities. In this case, it's in Wales, and these places these places seem to be populated by modern suit-wearing Americans driving modern cars while other people were in horses and carriages. Very, very strange, kind of like no particular time kind of setting, right. Which is, good if you want to make a timeless movie, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, they've got a quality about them. I'm not sure which one's aged better between this and Hammer. It's really hard to say because, I mean, like, aside from the black and white, which, I mean, I personally love the look of the silver screen. But these things have there's nothing in there that was super outdated.
No, not at all. Yeah, this is a Welsh sheep film, and of course, yes, it is a Welsh film. We could say that this is maybe one of the greatest British horror movies ever made, or Welsh horror movies ever made. In much in the same way as American Werewolf, I think Peeps would argue is one of the greatest British horror movies ever made.
But you know what, though? This movie does share that habit that most werewolf movies have, and that's
there you go.
and that's
Sorry.
like once the werewolf is over, the movie's done. It's just like, well, he's shot.
Yeah.
Credits.
But that's it, because the image we're looking at here, okay, to give people an idea, this movie, people in the chat, hi, have you seen this movie? Anybody seen it? Yes, yep. People seen this movie, because this is Claude Rains who plays his father, and the movie has to end. They're kind of his estranged father. The movie has to end with him killing his son, who's a werewolf, or the Wolfman, using this silver-tipped cane by violently bludgeoning him to death.
Made of vulcanized rubber.
Yeah, and so it's got these kind of like nope, not seen it. Tony. It's got a spoiler. I spoiled the end for you. Sorry about that. So it's got this kind of like undercurrent as well of like belonging and a generational thing in there, and sins of the father. I suppose you can read lots of stuff into if you want to, but the main thing about watching this kind of movie, I think this kind of setting is it tends to have imprinted on it what the time was like, and the time when this was made, early 40s, we're talking about with World War II happening, with Nazi Germany and all that kind of stuff. This was written and directed by a German Jewish man called Kurt Sodemak, who had fled from Germany and was in America. And when you watch this film and you know that, there's tons of stuff in it that kind of like jumps out at you and kind of guess it's far more to it than just a werewolf movie. For instance, the victims in this film see the image of the pentagram before they die. And we're talking about a 5-sided star. I mean, you realise this is made by somebody who fled Nazi Germany at the time when, around about the post-war, coming at the post-war period, people will be watching this and all these kind of things will be in their heads when they're watching it. There is actually subtext, and it's a far more serious kind of like background to this movie than you would think, which I think gives it depth that allows it to live on throughout decades. I may be wrong, but I think it does.
Yeah, this they were just Lewis Michael in the chat was just mentioning the 2010 version of Benicio del Toro that was directed by Joe Johnson. Yep. And the ending to that movie, they had to push it back because they had to shoot the werewolf fight.
Yep.
Totally different to this movie.
Yeah, totally.
That's very much New Hollywood, where they're like, they need more action. And it wasn't even so much of a horror sort of thing. It was just like, we need us a beatdown. Yeah,
very conflicted on that movie.
Yeah, I thought everything was great except Del Toro. Even him and the makeup was beautiful and were great, but he was just.
I think it looks great. Didn't hate it. I'm the opposite of you. I quite like Del Toro. I just think that he was at odds with what they were doing with the movie.
I don't think he should have played reserved is this problem. Lawrence Talbot's a guy that's genuinely sorry for what he does. Yeah, I suppose you're right there. But I honestly don't think he knew what the director was doing. No. I don't think. No, when you saw the final movie, probably went, okay, that's a different movie. I'm sure the studio had a lot of notes as far as what they wanted.
Yeah, was it? It was Joe Johnston.
Yeah, he did, what did he do? The first couple Harry Potters, the Rocketeer, third Jurassic Park.
Captain America.
Captain America, yep. Which would have been 4 hours had they not had to cut it down.
Yep.
But
there you go. He agrees with you. Lewis agrees with you. I like Del Toro. I've got to admit. I also like the fact that he doesn't quite fit in the same way that Lon Chaney in the original. I mean, he's a Welshman. He's been off at school in America, and he comes back, and Claude Rains is his dad. Now, if you can suspend your disbelief that Lon Chaney is Welsh and Claude Rains is his dad, then you're fine. And I can do that.
It's like you can buy the whole Wolfman thing. Absolutely, I can totally believe that.
Yeah. And Lewis is right. It was Chris Columbus did the first couple.
That's right. That's right. Chris Columbus. Yep.
Yeah, I think Chris Columbus and Joe Johnson are very much they do
a lot of period stuff.
Yeah, but they're also kind of Spielberg light. They have all the qualities of Spielberg, but not quite the depth of the best Spielberg. I
Yep.
think that's yeah. Right. So anyway, yeah. Now we're getting somewhere.
Speaking of beat down.
Yeah, after you've bludgeoned your main character to death, and then it's been hugely successful, what do? You just ignore the fact you've bludgeoned him to death, and bring him back from the dead. And Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. The start of the very first shared universe, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Kind of the MCU, but much better. Yeah.
Much more brief too.
Much more brief too. Yeah, the movies are only 90 minutes, so you can watch them in no get a sword.
There's only 4 in the shared universe. 4 installments. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends. No, it depends. It depends if you include Frankenstein when Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein at the end.
Well, that's true. Of course, that
if
was
you
a separate
include
thing.
that, but if you include that, and then you've got Bela Lugosi as Dracula, then that goes right back to the first one, and you can say the entire universe is shared from beginning to end.
I suppose. Was John Carradine alive at that point? Yeah, he was. He had to.
Yeah, he trundled on into the 70s, appearing in lots of incredibly weird movies.
The AFI stuff, or the
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Huh. The thing about this film is it was one of these troubled movies. It was made at a time where studios were interfering with it. So we had this guy here. There you go. Poke him in the nose. This guy here, Frankenstein, played by Bela Lugosi. Worst casting ever.
Who was it offered it in the first place?
Yeah. And we have Lon Chaney back as a Wolfman. Now, the reason that they cast Frankenstein as Bela Lugosi as Frankenstein is because in Ghost of Frankenstein, he played a character called Igor, and Igor's brain was transplanted into the monster's body. So it made sense to have Bela Lugosi as the monster in the next movie. And that kind of was the start of the whole shared universe and films kind of linking together. Very awkwardly, I have to say, because they keep killing everybody at the end of them and bring them back to life in the next movie. But
just like Friday the 13th.
What your thoughts on this movie? Because this is kind of like, Captain America beating Thor, if they did something like that,
Well, we talked a little bit before the show started about this, and they did a thing where they kind of made him stupid again. I wish they would have gone the route where they, Igor had retained kind of that cunning, so that he could fight Wolfman at the end with like a little bit more than and throw something at him, kind of thing. But as a setup, and I'm sure at the time when film was still very, very new, this kind of thing, this must have been a heck of a draw.
Well, it was a huge hit. Yeah. It was a huge hit. And it was cost effective as well. They're putting all the monsters, start to put their monsters together, and get them out there. So people were coming in to see Frankenstein and the Wolfman.
They really made the Versus movie.
Sorry, what was that?
They really made the Versus movie with this. I mean,
oh, totally. It's a very odd movie, though. If anybody decides to watch it, it's a very strange movie and has a very strange quality to it. But yeah, Frankenstein is.
He was Wolfman was found in like the ice in this, and then Frankenstein was in like that tar pit.
Yes.
Or whatever, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these things where you've got to kind of like try and remember exactly who was in ice and who was in a tar pit, because there's a lot of that in these films.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about very, very odd movies indeed. Right, now let's move on here to Ricky. House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula. Now, we're missing out tons of films here because they're not werewolf or Wolfman related, but the Universal horror movies, they really were the MCU of the day, only better. They had a lot more talented people involved, and they were shorter.
Much shorter.
Yeah. So what they did was you get these two movies, one after the other, that just combined all the monsters into one movie, and gave you what essentially was like little short stories for each of the monsters, and they kind of linked them together. And they were all held together by the Wolfman character, Larry Talbot, played by Lon Chaney Jr. So what are your thoughts on these final two movies, The House of Frankenstein and The House of Dracula?
It's it's funny because I mean, aside from Lon Chaney, everybody else had to kind of fill bigger shoes when they came in. You had Carradine there having to do the Lugosi role, and you had Glenn Strange taking on Karloff's stuff, and then Karloff being in the movie himself because he didn't want to do the monster ever again, especially after they made him talk, and kind of just felt like it was all over. But these were, I mean, I think at this point it was like, what else do we do? They kind of ran through their movies, like the story types that you do. They did a bunch of these movies before they got to these, and these were kind of the swan song before they hit the atomic age with like Creature from the Black Lagoon, and almost turning them into science fiction movies.
I remember as a kid when I was watching these, first of all being confused that Boris Karloff wasn't playing the monster.
Yeah.
But being quite glad later on when you watched him later on and you realise that he gets to do more because he's not playing the monster, and it's always nice to have Boris Karloff play a character that's a real character. So they do benefit from having these fantastic character actors just kind of like chewing the scenery and having a great time. But I don't think either of them are great movies, but they're fun to watch.
This is the ringing of the rag. Get the last you can get out of it before they move on.
That's it. And they do end with, I believe, after being killed in every movie up until this point, I think they cure the Wolfman in the final scenes of the House of Dracula, and he ends up cured. And he gets a happy end, and he gets an arc in these movies. They completely mess that arc up by bringing him back for Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein and then killing him off again.
I just feel like it did take his little thing at the end. It worked for a little while, and then like beating him to death with silver, all it took was a bit of moonlight on his hand, and it brought him right back. So
that's it. And then I think he dies by jumping out the window, grabbing hold of Dracula, who turned into a bat, and plunging into the sea with him, the rocky sea below. So he gets this epic death scene.
Didn't kill him because he was frozen. He was.
Yeah, he's probably frozen, but we've just not got to make the movie yet. But we bring him back. Yeah, so that was a Universal horror movies for the 30s and 40s, and their approach to the Wolfman was a guy with a very furry face, who was a very tragic character, didn't want to be what he was, and was either constantly looking for a cure or looking for a way to kill himself.
It's 4 years, this span from 41 to 45, Wolfman of the House of Dracula, as far as his story is concerned.
Wow, they packed a lot in. Yep, and I would highly recommend that you watch them. I think they're lots of fun. As to whether it's people's favourite approach to a werewolf, I don't know. It's one of my favourite films, the 1941 Wolfman film. But another one of my favourite films is a few years later. Now, it's not going to be this one.
20 years.
It's not going to be the Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll.
No.
But I'm bringing this up for a reason. We're going to talk about Hammer movies now. We're going to have a wee discussion about how they approach the werewolf rather than the Wolfman. The Hammer films were remaking, totally. They were remaking all the old Universal horror movies. So we had, what was the first? It was Curse of Frankenstein, Dracula, The Mummy, all these films. And they had to go at Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with the Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll. It was a bit of a flop. It was a very interesting movie, though. And the guy who directed it, Terence Fisher, who had made all the previous monster movies for Hammer, he would then go on to do the werewolf film. And the reason I brought up a Dr. Jekyll movie is because the werewolf or the Wolfman films are very much based around the same kind of mythology as Dr. Jekyll. It's just somebody who's mild-mannered who becomes somebody bestial. But the werewolf films tend to have legs, as it were, and be more successful.
Claws,
teeth, and big scary eyes. And they tend to be more successful. But yeah, so Hammer had flopped with Dr. Jekyll. It's a very interesting movie and well worth watching, but they'd flopped with it. So next up was The Curse of the Werewolf, with the amazing werewolf played by Oliver Reed in his first real starring role. Now, this is not from the movie. This is the House of Hammer comic book that I bought when I was 10 years old and read before I'd seen the movie. Just John Bolton's artwork. It's gorgeous. You'll probably find a copy of it on a PDF online if you can't actually get a print copy anywhere. And I'd read this and all the Hammer movies as little adaptations monthly in this comic book before I actually got to see the movie. Got to say, it's hard for any movie to live up to the artwork that John Bolton created in this comic, but the film pretty much did. So here we have The Curse of the Werewolf from 1961. Right, Stato, what are your thoughts on this?
I saw this movie a few years ago, and it was an interesting thing to see it for the first time as an adult, because it's got a heck of a memorable opening and a very memorable ending. But then there's the middle where they're taking a long time to set up that the character had a crappy life and nothing turned out right for him. And like he's life's punching bag, and you know, like he's waking up in the middle of the night and grimacing at the moon and stuff. But I think they spent a little too much time on that. But I guess to get to the ending part that everybody was waiting to see, it was worth it.
Yeah, I think it's like I totally get that. I understand that as a kind of like opinion on the movie, but I kind of love this movie.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
But my two favorite werewolf movies are probably Wolfman and this movie, and I quite like all the stuff, all the middle stuff too. I think it benefits from the fact it's a gorgeous looking movie. If you get the Blu-ray or the DVD, it just looks, it's got this kind of like old Hollywood sort of like feel, kind of going into a kind of modern kind of feel, although it is of course a British movie of the time. And it's just the art production and everything is fantastic. And it's got, as you can see there, I think the best werewolf ever, Oliver Reed, as Leon in The Curse of the Werewolf.
Or Snowflake for short.
Yeah, indeed. He's been much copied as well, I think, with that torn blouse thing that he wears. Now, you were mentioning earlier on when we were chatting before the show about the poster.
Yeah, he's carrying his mom around that whole time.
Yeah,
pretty much. Meet. But the first time I saw an image for this movie was pretty much that poster, except it must have been a promo for the movie, something they put out for to get people excited, because he was carrying around her name is Yvonne Romaine, the servant girl that played. He's carrying her around in these images, and it's black and white. I didn't know it was color because the first time I saw that was a little kid. But I kind of wondered, like, this almost was like a lost movie for me for a long time, because that was the only image I ever saw of it, and it was just like, what happened in this movie? What kind of craziness happened here? And I saw it, and like I said, it's more story driven than the other Wolfman, which I think moves by at a much quicker clip. Like,
definitely.
He gets there, then boom, gypsies, he's bit, boom, he's weird stuff's happening. He turns into the Wolfman about halfway through the movie, and you get 2 or 3 transformations there. This one, you just get, what is it? The ending 10 minutes? Must be.
10 minutes, that's a stretch. It's probably
that might be a little less.
There's not a lot of Wolfman in this. But what you get is good.
It's funny that he's got a bloody mouth there, because I think he hit that dude with the door and then ran away.
Yeah, no, you're right. This movie is probably well titled as The Curse of the Werewolf, because it is more about the curse and everything that leads up to the werewolf's appearance, and it's very confusing, I would say, if you don't really stick with it. But to go back to Lon Chaney for a minute, to go back to this one here, we have a mythology that they build on this, which we still get in movies today for werewolf movies, where you have the gypsy women, so you have the gypsy curse and all this kind of stuff, and they tell about what's going to happen. There's a character in this called Maliva, the old gypsy woman, and she is actually
Maria Uspinskaya, acting coach extraordinaire.
Indeed, and she kind of played that was her part in a lot of movies. I think she played the same part in Frankenstein Meet the Wolfman. Her character was an influence on me, because I include a character called Maliva in my Tatty Bogman comic, but I cast her as Jacqueline Pierce from Plague of the Zombies and Blake 7. But yeah, so they have this whole kind of like a mythology about the moon and seeing the pentagram and all that kind of stuff. Hammer in the 1960s, they don't have a Hays Code. They don't have the censorship that they had in the 40s. And they come at it from a completely different angle, which is kind of disturbing and surprising. Especially as well, because I think, I don't know if you agree with me, I think the movie is almost like a fairy tale in the way that it's shot and told.
Well, there's got to be some kind of a. I mean, like the 41 version, the Wolfman, that one kind of, it's a guy that's got a problem and he's really sorry for the things that he does when he's in the thrall of this problem. And this one, it feels a lot more like a guy that has a very specific personality type, and he's been denying it his whole life. And then after a certain point, he just accepts it, and it ruins him, sort of thing. So I mean, both of them are very relatable, I think, to just about anybody that's got some sort of a quirk or a flaw that they just don't like. It gets them into trouble.
Yeah. Although I think Oliver Reed is far more like an angry young man, isn't he? He's incredibly intense in this movie. This movie is
he was a heck of a roughhouser in real life.
Yeah, no, this movie is like acted. You talk about melodrama. This movie is like acted to the point of people almost exploding on screen because they're so over the top, but brilliantly so. Very well directed by Terence Fisher. But yeah, the disturbing thing was, here's one of the lobby cards for this movie. That's his mother, the lovely but somewhat limited acting-wise, Yvonne Romaine, and she ends up, she's a mute, so she can't speak, can't tell people what's happening, and she ends up being thrown by this terrible, is he kind of like trying to think what he is now. He's like a
beggar.
No, the guy who's in charge of the place, so the royalty.
He's like a duke.
Yeah, like a duke. The duke, that's it. So like a lot of Hammer movies is this kind of whole kind of thing about the people, the haves and the have-nots and sort of stuff. And it starts off as the beggar who we feel sorry for. Eventually, he's thrown into this cell, and over the years, he becomes more like an animal. And she ends up being thrown into the cell with him. And although they don't thankfully show it, he ends up raping her. And the child that she has is Oliver Reed. And so their mythology is that he's born almost
on
like
Christmas.
Oh yeah, he's born on Christmas, which is seemingly some kind of a affront to God, and that alone is enough to give him the curse. So the kid is born. It's kind of like it's almost like an original sin sort of analogy. The kid's he's doomed from the minute he's born. Whereas poor old Larry Talbot in the Universal film just happened to wander down the wrong path late at night. This guy, he's going to say in it. He's doomed pretty much from the day he's born.
That's a heck of an exaggerated poster, though. That beggar didn't look like that.
Yeah, well, he does. He's a lot hairier. It gets to that point in the movie, but yeah, they've saturated the colours to the point where he practically just looks like the Wolfman. I think that's what the advertising people, marketing people are terrible. They never tell they just lie to you all the time, so they do.
Well, they still do that. When Hammer came up with Woman in Black, they had with Daniel Radcliffe. It came out a few years ago when they made their big comeback. I noticed the trailer. There was an international trailer, and then there was the American trailer. In the international trailer, he's looking in the mirror, and then the voice or the visage of like a woman comes and she's screaming, and that's in the movie. But then when you look at the American trailer, when she shows up, her face is fractured like a mirror to make it look even scarier, just for the trailer. Nothing else. Like they totally altered that thing to get people in the theaters, and I was just looking and going, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, never trust marketing people.
So they've been doing it forever.
Indeed, but that's a cracking poster, even if it doesn't appear in the movie. And you can't really begrudge Hammer movies because you've got this very attractive actress, and you've got this great werewolf kind of makeup by Roy Ashton. So of course you're going to use it in the poster and the advertising. Why wouldn't
Hammer
you?
always had something to prove. They had a very high bar that they had to jump over because people were, I'm sure, kind of skeptical of like, wait a minute, this movie was really awesome. What are you going to do different? Sort of thing. So
yeah, well, it was weird at the time because they were they became known as the kind of the classy ones in horror, in the late 50s, early 60s. But to the establishment, they were still, that wasn't classy. They were making horror movies, and that's not classy. So they still had the establishment looking at them and thinking with a kind of snooty kind of way and thinking, oh my God, they're making these terrible horror movies.
Now, would you say this is a point of pride now?
Yeah, totally. But I think at the time, even Hammer were trying to make different movies while they were making horror movies because they weren't respectable. But when they did make the horror movies, they made them as classy as they could. So a lot of that's got to do with the supporting actors that they always had as well. They had like people like Michael Ripper that would have been in them. And this film has got a character. Now, I don't know if you know, you had a character on American TV called, what was his name? It was in the sitcom All in the Family. What was the name of the character in that?
Oh, geez. I know the show.
To help me out. Archie Bunker. Bunker. Yep. And he was based on a character called Alf Garnett from a TV show in the UK. And Warren Mitchell was the actor who played him. And he's in this movie playing, he's a chap who is out, his job is to go out and shoot the wolves and the dogs that are killing the sheep.
Yep.
And he's played by this actor. And in the UK, people know this guy for TV and stuff. And so they bring this kind of like persona with them. And Hammer were very good at putting actors in there that were just terrific little character actors. There's another actor in here, Peter Sallis as well, who is actually connected to another kind of like Hammer style movie, and he was in Taste of Blood of Dracula. Just lots of fantastic sort of like little character actors. So they built up a kind of like a repertoire of actors and writers and directors that just they could deliver this stuff almost in their sleep, I think.
Mm. I was like, I mean, once I finally got to see my fair share of
yeah,
my fair share of Hammer and Universal ones. I like how they complement each other. Universal has a heck of a they've got a heck of a emphasis on outside type stuff. They got the forests with the fog and things like that. Hammer always did interiors wonderfully, like these big sweeping halls and castles and Gothic locations and things like that. You get Universal black and white, Hammer color. Universal a little bit more buttoned up because obviously had to. Hammer was like all blood and shortcut dresses and and color and stuff. So I mean, they're really great for like two sides of the same coin as far as your classic horror movies go.
Totally. And unlike Universal, where it was all kind of backlot stuff and sets, Hammer, when they were at Bray Studios and even when they moved to Elstree, they always had this recognisable forest area that you could recognise in just about every movie.
Right.
And you can go, I know that tree, because they were always filmed in the same locations. But they were fantastic locations and they worked really well. So, and you can even tell, kind of like Hammer aficionados can tell, what films are made in Elstree and at Bray Studios, just by looking at some of the stills and so on. Whereas Universal, I don't know if they did any location shooting in the movies. I think they were all on set, weren't they?
Most of it, yeah. I mean, if they did, it was probably just somewhere close at hand. I don't think they traveled too much for that kind of thing back then. Wasn't in the budget.
No. So I'm going to bring this up here just because, just to give Peter Gilmore a plug. Because that's his version of Oliver Reed as the werewolf Leon from The Curse of the Werewolf.
I have a feeling Peter would think that was the superior werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a big fan. I saw he was drawing that live on a live stream with Mandy that I was on one night, so I saw him actually drawing that during the stream. It's a fantastic piece of work. But as we do have a lot of UK people, hundreds of them in the chat. There's hundreds in the chat. 7. So I'm going to ask them if they know the connection between The Curse of the Werewolf and a later day Hammer-inspired movie. And I'm looking for the movie that's Hammer-inspired. And this chap here was in Curse of the Werewolf. And he was also in a movie that's very much inspired by Curse of the Werewolf, minus the other rapey stuff. Does anybody in the chat have any idea what it could be? Nope. Nope. I'm quite. Yep. Nobody's got it. Okay, this is Peter Sallis, and the other great werewolf movie that came out of Britain, this was based on Hammer horror movies, was in fact The Curse of the Were Rabbit, and he is in both of them. So he has the unique position of being in two of the greatest British horror movies ever made: Curse of the Werewolf and Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were Rabbit. There you go. Just thought I'd share that with everybody.
I had no idea.
So so we're talking werewolves. We've gone through universe, so we've bored everybody silly about Curse of the Werewolf. What are there other? I don't know. You think werewolves? Somebody says to you, "What's your favorite werewolf movie?" What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Mine. It'd probably be something from a few years ago. I'd probably say. I like the off-beaten ones, like Dog Soldier was a really good one. Dog Soldiers was a really good one. American Werewolf in London. That's a lot of fun. That's a pretty... I don't know if I was as big a fan of The Howling, though.
Ah, right, okay. That's the one I would go for.
That's one you like here.
Yeah, I prefer the Howling to American Werewolf in London.
With the rabbit werewolves?
I prefer my were-rabbit to the American Werewolf. No, I don't. I think they're equal. I've always... They do indeed. Everything comes back to the cheese.
The cheese?
The cheese grommet. American Werewolf in London is a better film.
Right. More fun to watch, but not as well made. But
I prefer The Howling. It's more fun to watch, and I like the werewolves with their kind of like weird, kind of like fingers that go like that. And I just like the fact that people like John Carradine turn up in it.
So now here's a question: do you like your werewolves? This is gonna sound weird now. Hear me out. Do you like your werewolves with pants, or are you more like the?
I prefer. I mean, it's preferably pants and or as we call them, your trews, or pants, trousers, or a torn shirt. I don't mind if they go completely au natural if they're on their four legs, but I think it looks. I like to see something of the Incredible Hulk about them.
You got those three classifications: the ones that wear the clothes, the ones that are upright without clothes, and then the hell dogs. So I mean, Werewolf in London's the biggest probably example of the hell dog.
Yes. Yeah. I was disappointed in the actual werewolf, an American Werewolf in London. I like the transformations. The actual werewolf is very disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's only seen in shots because it was basically a wheelbarrow with a head on it. Just real quick.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely the best transformation ever.
The most cuddly werewolf. That thing looked like a giant Wolverine.
Yes. Silver Bullet.
Gary Busey was scarier than that werewolf was.
Yeah, that's because that was in Cycle of the Wolf, the Stephen King book that was based on. Yeah, no, that's a good wee book. It's worth getting a hold of if you don't have a copy because Bernie Wrightson does the illustrations for it, and they're very nice. They're not up to the detail of his Frankenstein illustrations, but if you like your classic horror comics, Bernie Wrightson, I'd try and get a copy of the version of Psycho the Werewolf. Is it Psycho the Wolf?
Yeah.
Psycho the Werewolf, that he's illustrated.
Yeah, there's that one movie, Bad Moon. I don't remember that the movie was super great, but it was based on a book. And the cool thing about the book is it was all told from the perspective of the dog, because the dog didn't trust. It's about this brother that's coming to live with his sister, and he's trying to beat his werewolf transformations and stuff, and the dog does not trust him at all. The thing just starts barking and growling and being nasty at him, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And the whole book's told from that dog's perspective, with the fact that he knows the guy's a werewolf and he's dangerous, and the family's like, "What are you doing, dog? Stop it! It's our my brother," and stuff like this.
I have that movie somewhere on a disc with some other films. I'll be honest with you, I never stayed awake long enough to tell you what happened in that movie. It's not a film you want to put on late at night because it's kind of dull, isn't it?
Until Wolf. That's a Bristolian Dave. That is. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. Okay. That's a strange kind of like time capsule when it was made as well, wasn't it? That was kind of like the characters they play, these kind of well-off yuppie type characters. Yeah.
And then that had that odd werewolf fight. That's the kind of thing. They preserve that tradition of having the werewolves just like grab your neck and shake your head in it like you're motorboating a neck or something like that. It's like
you just need to do that out of your face and then that's you.
Shake your head.
Yeah. That's what's missing from modern horror movies is the physical, comportment of the actor as he attacks somebody.
Yeah, it's all done with CG now.
Evil Ed Werewolf. Yeah, he was funny. Yeah.
Was Evil Ed a werewolf? I thought he was just a nasty vampire.
He was, but was he not eventually a werewolf?
No, he got shot before. No, he would have had to have been.
Because he turned into a wolf. Because the vampires could turn into wolves and stuff. So.
I suppose maybe.
Oh well, here's the question then: what makes it a werewolf?
What makes a werewolf? Well,
yeah, because if a vampire can transform into a wolf, are vampires technically werewolves as well?
Werewolves. Well, I mean, up until recently, werewolves didn't have the will to do it. They just did it.
Yeah,
it was a curse. It was a problem for them. This isn't something that up until recently they didn't write them as I'm going to be a wolf and change and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was indeed. His proto Wolverine test footage.
Howl is another good one. Bristolian Dave's knocking him out of the park. You ever see that one?
Yeah. That was like
when they're stuck on
Mike Nichols made that, so it was a very strange choice for a director to do a horror movie. But yeah, that's an interesting film.
I followed a lot of zombie beats though. They had the lady that got bit but didn't want to say anything, and then she turned into one later, and they're surrounding the train. They're kind of. It felt like a zombie story, but they just kind of substituted for werewolves. It was.
Yeah, weird. That's interesting. I never thought of that. Yeah, that's quite. It would work well that way too, and even vampires. I think it needs to be werewolves so simply because they've got that alpha male thing going in that movie.
Did you ever see Timothy Dalton play a werewolf?
Oh, and what?
He played one. It was called Werewolf Concerto. It was in the first or second season of Tales from the Crypt.
No, never saw that one.
Yeah. The makeup for that is. Let me see if I can find that.
I can imagine he'd have been a pretty good werewolf.
Yeah, it was 1992. He played a werewolf, and I mean, it's. Let me just. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna drag this over and share my screen here quick, and you'll get to kind of see what I'm talking about. So there we go. Share screen. Perfect.
There we go.
There we are.
Oh yeah, I've seen that image. I never even realized that was Timothy Dalton.
Yeah. Yep. He had the twist that, but
he's a kind of he's a pretty hairless werewolf, isn't he?
That's a classic episode. It almost reminds me of the Ozzy Osbourne makeup from Bark at the Moon. But yeah, that was.
Cat people. Good call. Cat people. Okay, that's interesting because cat people, the original cat people, they don't show you the. I'm just assuming people know.
That's the one that's built on jump scares, right? And you're not sure if it's in their head or not. Yeah,
exactly. And then they show the panther at the end because the studio insisted it. But the whole idea was that it might or might not be a person that turns into a giant cat. That's how they were originally going to do the Wolfman, Will and Cheney. Kurt Siodmak didn't want to actually show the wolf, but Universal went, "Nah, it's a monster movie."
Yep.
Just as well because we want the monster.
I don't know that it would have survived. They couldn't have built a franchise on that.
No, they couldn't.
Interesting. Dave brings up an interesting thing here: the infected versus the cursed. I like that. But then again,
Lynn Cheney's
wasn't
bitten.
but isn't the curse an infection as far as most of them are, like because Lon Chaney was bit, and they passed that curse on to him. So that's that's almost an infection.
You could change him round, Dave. The werewolves are cursed and wolfmen are infected. It's what. That's a whole other.
That would
show,
match up.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's next month. Tune in. We'll bring Bristolian Dave on, and we'll do the postmodern werewolf show, where we infected or cursed. Okay. Coming soon to the multiverse.
Just screaming at each other. No, no, no.
Yes, Lewis, I'm with you there. I like the remake as well, I've got to say.
When was that remake? 70s? No.
Yeah, 80s. It was Paul Schrader, the guy who wrote Taxi Driver. He remade it, and it was Nastasia Kinski, the Klaus Kinski's daughter.
Oh, okay. Really, I don't think I've actually seen all the way through the original Cat People. I've seen clips.
Yeah, you've got to. You need to get yourself sort of like a nice quiet evening and then just sit back and enjoy it. It's an amazing movie. You'll love it if you just watch it. It's got a great sequel as well, which is actually like a kids movie. The sequel's an awful. It's like a child's ghost story.
You always love when they take a horror movie and then like turn it into a kids movie.
Yep.
RoboCop. Hey, Yan's in the house. Hey, Yan.
Hey, Yan. And Captain has indeed been infected, many, and will be for many more times to come, I'm sure.
Hi, at Charlie's London.
Bonjour. Going a bit French all of a sudden. French. Are there any French werewolves? There are. Just as well you popped in there. Have you seen Brotherhood of the Wolf?
I have seen that. I'm trying to think if that was a werewolf though, because there was the creature was a lion, wasn't he?
It's called Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That was a heck of a first, I think, French martial arts movie I'd seen.
Yeah, French Canadian martial arts. Yeah, there's not a lot of it about, but what there is very good. I don't think they can cure some with antibiotics.
Oh, they can. No. Dr. Smith and Wesson can take care of that.
Yeah, I think though over the years they've built up antibodies. So I think we've pretty much covered a lot of them, but we haven't covered in depth the masterpiece that is Howling 2.
Werewolf movies are really hard to pull off, though. I think the Wolfman ones are a lot easier, like that movie Skinwalkers a few years ago that was written by the guy that starred in the Psych show. But they're really hard to pull off because they're tough to look good and they're expensive.
Yep,
so expensive for that makeup.
And there was indeed American Werewolf in Paris was a sequel to American Werewolf in London.
They look like goblins.
Oh,
that's okay, Charlie.
That's okay. What are you having? Yeah, at least we're not being stream sniped by Jan, or are we?
I have to wonder if you let her read Graveyard Shift. There's an ongoing saga.
Yep, I saw that. Yep, no, just keep it stuck to it. That's got a werewolf in it, hasn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
have a werewolf in it. Yeah. Right. Well, that's pretty much been our kind of like historical journey through the Universal and the Hammer horror movies.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask the chat.
Last Phases was good too.
What was that?
Or Late Phases was good too. It was about a blind veteran who was put in a retirement home, and there's a werewolf. He's going to kill himself, but then he's like, maybe I'll just take this thing with me before I go.
Right.
Yeah, it was a smaller one.
I need to see that. I haven't seen it. I'm out of the loop for the more modern horror films, so yeah, I need to get that watched. I think that sounds good. Yeah. So, I'm going to say, chat, like, tell us if you were to have to choose between the Universal approach to the horror movie and the Wolfman in particular. You know,
Dan's hidden it.
was that? I'm going to ask the chat, are you... Whoops, where did that go? Oh, what I've done now, man. Here we go. I'm not bothered with that. Are you Larry Talbot or Leon? What's the best approach? Is it the Wolfman approach? Or is it the Curse of the Werewolf approach? Is it the approach where you have the gypsy curse, or the approach where you have essentially you're born into it and there's no escape? Which one wins out? Let me know. Universal or Hammer? And I personally, although I love the Wolfman, think that the approach that Hammer took is probably my favourite approach to the werewolf and the curse. So if I was to choose between Universal and Hammer, even though they've only got the one movie, I would probably go Hammer. Stato, what about you?
I have to take the contrary position in this situation because I think the everything that we take for granted and we know about werewolf movies, the rules, I'm going to use quotey fingers on that, kind of came from Lon Chaney's stuff. And aside from the varying degrees of quality that the movies have come in, I like the snappiness of that movie and how fast it was. Although I do love Curse of the Werewolf. It's a great movie. Plus, I'm also a sucker for black and white movies. I love the silver screen.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite movies, but again, so's Curse. And again, it's one of these cases where I would say, well, the Wolfman is probably better as an overall movie, but you know what it's like. Sometimes you just like a movie.
You get into that, which one's better made and which one's more fun to watch.
Yeah, so
that kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't know what they're up to in the chat. Yeah, the chat's moving that fast.
I'm in UK territory, so I feel like I'm outnumbered.
Rather than born into it. Yes, indeed. Trumps everything. He does indeed. Again, out there in the multiverse, there is an entire series of movies Hammer made with Oliver Reed as a star. Unfortunately, it's not in the universe we live in. He made a few movies where he was a bit player for them. These Are the Damned, or They Are the Damned, with the Joseph Losey movie, and a couple of pirate movies. And his only starring role for them was in this, and also in a horror movie called Paranoid. So he was in Hammer movies, quite a few Hammer movies, but he never really starred in any other than Curse of the Werewolf.
Well, he went out on Gladiator, so I mean that's not a bad movie to finish out on.
Not bad at all. But it would have been lovely to see him kind of like head to head against Peter Cushing in a movie, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Louis
He did go head to head with Christopher Lee.
Oh yeah.
Louis
Michael Fisher for getting the greatest werewolf movie of all time, Teen Wolf.
Oh man. Yeah. That's a terrible movie.
But what about Teen Wolf 2?
Oh well, that's that. What's the worst werewolf? I think I would have to go Teen Wolf 2. That's a truly awful piece of makeup, isn't it? Teen Wolf 2. Don't know. Let's see if we can find it.
I like the idea of a boxing match with a werewolf, though. That's got potential.
If Abbott and Costello were doing it, yeah, it's not as good as the boxing match they do with the Invisible Man.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they kind of know how to do it. Oh dear, this is awful. Right, let's see. Charlie, I hope you finished eating because this is just going to make you sick.
What are we doing? Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
Teen Wolf 2. I don't know which one's the most sickening, to be honest with you. The one on the left or the one on the right. This is what you get when you can't get the style of the original movie.
But he launched a heck of a career. I mean, I think he probably made sure this got buried, but
yeah, well, I found it and it's out there. That's by and far got to be the worst werewolf movie ever made. Yeah.
What about whoa? The Howling had plenty of movies that were flipping terrible.
Yeah, but The Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, is so bonkers that you've got to watch it. It's got somebody it's got a ballerina turning into a werewolf in one sequence while she's dancing.
I remember. Was that 2? No, that was 3.
No, that's 2, Howling 2.
Are you sure? I swear that was 3 when the girl from Australia came up, and because they had that like weird psychic link with the doctor and stuff like that. Because there was all kinds of weird crap going on in 3 with the marsupial stuff, and she ran away to that city. And,
yeah, that was Howling 3, the marsupials.
Yeah.
They're good with the names, aren't they? Oh, God. Yeah, you really appreciate what Hammer and what Universal did when you watch some of those movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I wish they'd remake the Howling movies. They would. All the stories had potential, but the budgets and the acting wasn't there.
Yeah, what do you think about that there then, STATTO? Do they count?
Halfway. There's werewolves in them. Or lichens. Yeah. They never actually said werewolves.
Yeah, I would definitely say, yep, they count.
Those are the ones that can willingly change.
Is there a third way?
As far as what?
Werewolves, Hammer or Universal. But there's Tyburn. They made Legend of the Werewolf, which was based on the same book that Curse of the Werewolf was based on. Guy Endors.
Every other werewolf movie I could think of was, besides Howling, was not they were one-offs because they never were. There's hardly ever a werewolf movie that's all that successful. So they're just studios trying to do a werewolf movie.
No, there was Van Helsing as well, which was terrible.
Yeah, werewolves look good though.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember werewolf, but I remember Manimal.
Well, everybody remembers Manimal. I think it was all 3 or 4 episodes or whatever it was. I loved Manimal. That was fantastic. I suppose the first, because that makes me think of Island of Lost Souls, or Island of Dr. Moreau. And so when he creates those characters, are they werewolves?
Those are genetic experiments.
Werepigs,
Chimeras.
What exactly does the were mean?
Their wolf.
Their wolf. Yeah. Them wolves. Us wolves.
Get the pronouns right.
No, I don't. Was that?
I remember hearing about it. There was like one season. You could probably find it on DVD.
There we go. I think Lewis is talking about the makeup for Teen Wolf 2, but he did look more like a monkey than a wolf. That is the thing about werewolf makeup, is most of it doesn't look like a wolf if they keep the human features. You
know what we're forgetting? Speaking of like American versus British, do you know the show Being Human?
Oh, yeah.
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 Did you ever see both versions?
Never finished the UK version, to be honest with you.
I only watched a few episodes. I think I watched a season of each, but
it was okay show. But yeah,
the werewolves were interesting in that one.
Yeah,
he sold it. See, that he was closer to Larry Talbot than I think I'd seen in a long time.
Yeah, I never really stuck with it. Not much of it as I can remember.
I ducked out after like the first season. I think they went off in some really weird directions.
Yeah. So yeah. I think werewolves generally are more popular with people. Brilliant one. Company of Wolves. Right, never getting arty with people circus here. Company of Wolves is it's one of those films that some people kind of love, other people hate, and it very much is a fairy tale.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, right, okay, give it a look. It's interesting, especially after watching Curse of the Werewolf, because this really is told like a Little Red Riding Hood, like a fairy tale type story. It's very much a feminist werewolf movie. It's very good.
Did the Aussies ever make a werewolf movie that wasn't the marsupials? I don't think that was actually an Australian movie.
Weird Skin Shed.
Because they would have made a weird
3 words. Weird Skin Shed. Yes. Because that's that the way that they shed their skin in it is very weird, and you see the wolf noses coming out of the actual faces.
I'm looking at a screenshot of it. Are those like Doberman or not Dobermans? Are those like actual dogs that are sitting there in dresses?
Yes. Yes. As far as I remember, that's exactly what it is.
I'll sort the makeup out.
I'm trying to get an image here, but yeah, if we,
Oh. That's funny.
there you go. No, I don't want
why
your green slate Staley, whatever that is. I want.
I don't know why that strikes me as funny.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Just put a dress on Rin Tin Tin and call it a werewolf.
Yeah, it's a fantasy movie. It's a fantasy movie for adults. Yeah,
Right.
fantasy sort of. Yep,
Sure.
that covers it.
Wow. Vampire Diaries. I never watched that show.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I remember watching it. Yeah, that was a great show to watch just because every single week they would have some kind of event they were putting on, a gala or something, every single week, and something terrible was going to happen at it. Yeah.
German Shepherds.
Yeah.
That's what
German Shepherds. Yeah, Neil Jordan, he directed it. I'm not quite sure.
Now, remind me, in your talk about the greatest British supervillain, was Christopher Lee on that list?
Did we talk about the greatest British supervillain?
Yeah, because that was when Yan was defending Moriarty to the death, and then they started going Terrence Stamp. Oh no, he's not British.
That's
he's
right. That's right. I might have been drinking a lot during that episode. So yeah, it was Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Because he was Dracula. He was
Dracula. Yeah, but he was also in the Three and Four Musketeers.
It got into the debate on whether they meant British actors playing people or whether it was actual British villains. I remember.
That's right. Yeah, I've wiped that entire episode from my mind.
Oh, that was really funny. I like that.
It was good. Yeah. I'm looking at a comic here.
Is that right?
Yeah, look at that.
Would that have anything to do with what I'm sharing on my screen?
It might well do. Look at that gorgeous double-page spread. It feels really weird when you're saying, "Look at that gorgeous double-page spread," and you drew it. You know, it's like that's terrible, really. You know, but yeah,
well, you got it flaunted.
I mean, this has been fun. I don't know what you guys think in the chat. This is our first show. We're just really kind of like feeling our way with this and
get our stride.
Getting a feel, getting our stride. I've probably talked too much.
No, it's your channel. Speaking of which, subscribe, hit the bell, notification.
Yeah, I do that stuff. I don't care.
Spread the word.
I don't care. This YouTube thing, I'm not in it for the money. What money? But yeah, I've got the Ailsa Dark campaign out there, which of course has werewolves and Bampots. I bet you can't wait until we do the Bampot special. Yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, so if I bring it up, we get to that point of the show where I do a bit of shilling. So yeah, STATTO's about to play this trailer.
Here we go.
Oh, you're still muted.
I just pulled a cap and I'm sitting here trying to find the cursor, and it's on the second screen.
Yeah, I just don't care. As one of the, I've just introduced this in our first show. You'll see my cursor flying all over the place when I'm doing stuff. I don't care. Yeah, that really gets me with it. Whoa, got that, you know, when that starts screaming. But here we go. What have we got here? Here you go.
Well, I'm glad you guys did.
And Dave. Cheers, peeps. You'd say that anyway, I'm sure. And thank you so much, sir. Looking forward to yours as well. I love that Bronze Age vibe. And, you know, some people have, you know, foot fetishes. That's my kink. It does indeed. It does indeed. It's like, in fact, was that photograph taken while you were watching the actual trailer? So that was the trailer for Ailsa Dark, Werewolves and Vampires, the conclusion, which I don't know when I'm going to be launching the campaign. It'll be a few months because I want to get a lot of it under my belt before then, and I'm doing a lot of work as well. There's going to be another campaign that will be unveiling in a month or so that I'm working on, and I'm also doing some work for Charlie's London on her, me and just about everybody in CG seem to be doing up with something for her, because that's a great campaign. So I'm very, very busy. But if you haven't already, I think everybody here is signed up to my mailing list, and thank you all very much. And if you've not, you know, give it a go. And that's us. We've done a show, STATTO.
Yeah.
See all this clicking on stuff.
Didn't go nearly off the rails like I thought I would drag it. Wait.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. We're not done yet. don't jinx it.
Imagine you passed out drunk like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, we're not back next week because we're doing this as a bi-weekly.
Every other week versus twice
every other week. Yeah. Just used to get comics that were bi-monthlies. They come every 2 months. So it's very Bronze Age approach to this YouTube stuff. And hang on a minute. I'll have some of this. Most definitely water.
Do Wullie's water review.
Yeah. And so because I'm going to be starting another show.
Very soon.
And I'm going to kind of like sandwich it in between what we're doing. So 1 week people will come on here and it'll be me and STATTO, and we'll be talking about whatever genre it is we're talking about that week. Mm. Like we mentioned as well, we're going to be looking for people that may want to come on with us with like their favourite movie or genre, and we can do that kind of stuff too, maybe even tie in with a few campaigns that are out there. The other show I'm going to be doing, and it's like, this is the moment where I realise that.
Have a good night, Lewis. Oh, Lewis Michelson. Have a good night.
Oh, yep. Have a good night. Good night, man. Thanks for turning up. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to be doing a show with. It's good that you're paying attention, STATTO. I'm trying to click so many windows and I've lost what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm going to be doing another show. Just give me a wee second. The tension.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just like horror movies.
Oh,
you never know when the window's going to pop up.
Yeah.
That's my halfway evil laugh.
It's like Hitchcock said. You take the suspense. In order to make suspense work, you have to take the audience to a point of boredom.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what he said. I think we may be playing around with that a little bit, but that's what he said. You take them almost to the point of boredom so that they become complacent, and then they become almost, oh, I'm fine, nothing's going to happen. And then it happens, and then that's when they get shocked. So,
he also referred to Steven Spielberg as the boy who made the Fish movie. Like that.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong. So this is coming up, and it's going to be a show called Wullie's Comic Book Gold, coming soon. And what's going to happen with this is it's going to be me talking about comics with other people. I'm going to be getting guests to come on the show, and they're going to be giving me a list of the comics that really mean something to them. So there's a show, most folk here in the chat are from the UK, so they know the show Desert Island Discs, where people go on, and what they do is they show that was my wife. What they do is they come on and they pick some of their favourite records and they talk about them and exactly what they mean to them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have people come on and talk about comics that really mean something to them. I'll have to check out the comics before the show and we'll be able to have a good chat about them. So in much the same way as me and STATTO are going to be sitting here talking about movies, well, his Comic Book Gold is going to be me sitting with other creators and fans and talking about the comics that mean something to them. So that's coming very soon. Okay?
I didn't know about that.
Let you up. No, that's I just pulled that one out of thin air. I've been sitting working away in Photoshop during the show making this.
I like it.
Right. Yes, he is indeed in there. He's in there because I thought, I don't know, maybe somebody might want to come on and talk about him. Hint, hint. Yeah. Anybody who looks at that, actually, they're kind of the comics I've picked that are all comics that I kind of mean a little bit of something to me anyway in some way, and also comics that mean something to people who are actually coming on. Yeah, that's Brian Boland is there. That's a cover for an issue of The Invisibles, Grant Morrison comic. Yep. This is where I'm going to do something like really sad and start pointing to my own screen while I'm talking, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff up there, comics up there. Whether we talk about these, I don't know, but it's going to be as wide as the comics you see there in the background. So that's the whole point of the show. So
did you catch Charlie's comment?
Where's that? Oh, this one.
He also said I'm fat and bald, and if I hire a beautiful woman to work for me and pressure them to sex because they know I'm a genius and I won't get me too in the future.
Yeah. He was a genius. You know, what can I say? Yeah. That anybody that's come in late, we're not talking about Captain Britain. That was, in fact, Alfred Hitchcock. Charlie was talking about that. Captain Britain didn't say it. Maybe he did. Does it work?
Maybe in his later years.
Yeah, I can see that working in a deconstructed version of Captain Britain. But yeah, so that's Wullie's Comic Book Gold, which is going to be coming soon. And like this show, it's not going to stay as welcome. We're going to be doing like an hour and a half with somebody the way we are doing, and we'll be chatting about.
I'm excited about that.
Comics.
Cool.
So cool. So that's us then, I think, isn't it? Yeah. We didn't think about this bit, did we? We didn't think, how do we actually stop the show?
Well, there's so many different ways to do it. You got Fraga, who does like a karate chop. Cap says F off and quits. Mark just shoots everybody out.
Yeah.
Stops it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could say that I'm going to be back again in about 40 minutes with Captain Frederick Head on his show. And we're going to be talking to Art Thiebaud, which is quite exciting.
Turn the camera off, do some push-ups, get jacked, get ready to go.
Yeah, I think I might be a different colour of liquid on that show I'm going to be drinking here. This is definitely water. So it's not gin with ice is melted. So yeah, so I'll be doing that. And it's been fun. So thanks for doing this, Stat. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
I wonder what we're going to do in 2 weeks' time. We've got no idea, have we?
We'll figure it out. There's so many movies to cover.
It's going to be different, though. It's not going to be anything like classic horror movies. It's going to be, we're either going to do something that's so weird it will blow your minds, or so obscure that you'll just scratch your heads and wonder what the hell were those guys doing.
And maybe have to go look it up.
Yeah, you may have to do some homework.
Maybe.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay.
Is that anything like Doomcock?
that's kind of like Doomcock, but I would say probably cooler. If you're comic Mark, you would say cooler. If you were Captain Frederick Head, you would say definitely not killer. I think. Okay, so that's it. We've done our first show. This has been. I see. This is it. I've already screwed it up here because I need to go. Oh no, I haven't. Oh, this is so easy. This stuff. People make it look as if it's hard. It's easy.
Thanks for dropping by, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for dropping by. This has been episode 1 of Wullie and Stato at the movies. Next week we'll have some comedy shtick, or in 2 weeks' time we'll have some comedy shtick and all kinds of songs and dances, all kinds of shit. So number one, even a man. I don't know what's going on in the chart. Even a man who is pure of heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. And I've just remembered something. He doesn't become a wolf in the Wolfman because of the full moon. He becomes a wolf when the wolfbane blooms. Think about that.
They retconned that in the next movie.
Yeah, they did indeed. Bloody retcons. Just at the MCU. So goodbye, everybody. Thanks for turning up.
Bye.
Strikes on me.